Christmas and things like that. I think she's got an original song that she's going to premiere, an original holiday song. Our executive director, Press Southworth, has been pushing me. He says, you got to tell Carly to do Goldfinger. And I was like, well, that's not a Christmas song. He's like, she's got to do Goldfinger. And you know what? I've been thinking, and I'm going to ask her, because that'll be our Christmas present.
Right.
That's when she sings really well. So
Yeah,
our
she
Christmas
does.
present to you is she'll probably do Nobody Does It Better and Goldfinger, and those will be the only non-Christmas or holiday songs.
Which is a little bit of a
do.
tip of the hat to her other life. She's an actress.
She's a movie actress and a sort of Broadway actress. She's done that show Rent.
Yep.
And if you go look her up on YouTube, you can see she's done a couple of nice movies and things like that.
Yeah,
So
and her voice is one that she's been back with us a couple of times now. She has such a powerful voice that I feel like such a wide range of audience can get behind her voice, because she can sing in this really sort of contemporary, sort of pop sensibility, but then she can just sing jazz. I know there's a version of "You'd Be So Nice to Come Home to Him" that I've heard her do. She sounds like Ella.
Yeah,
it's like
she can do that.
Wow.
Yeah. She's a great singer and a great. So we want, and I have to be honest, Carly is good to look at. And I don't think she'd be offended if I told you that.
I don't think she would be.
And then I just wanted to let you know, we have a guy that's not advertised as a guest, although I think we're pushing for him to do it. So quickly, Bobby Floyd is going to be out with the Basie Band, so he won't be at this concert. But this is a testament to what Jazz Arts Group is doing. So our guest on piano is going to be Columbus Youth Jazz Orchestra alumnus. And he is only, at this time, I think he's 18 or 19 years old.
He's not 20, I don't think.
Yeah. And his name is Micah Thomas. And he's going to sit and play the piano chair. You know why? Not because he's young and not because he used to be with Columbus Youth Jazz Orchestra. Is because he's one of the best in the country right now. The week before, he will be with me, playing with me as soloist, with me in the Atlanta Symphony.
Wow.
And he's going to do that concert. He's done that with two other orchestras with me before. I heard this guy's like, he's as good as any pro. So I think we have something to be proud about at Jazz Arts Group and the Columbus Jazz Orchestra. Is that, I have to tell you, he told me, I was like, how did you learn to play like this? Was it from playing jazz in your school all the time? He said, actually, my only outlet for playing jazz was the Columbus Youth Jazz Orchestra.
Right.
We didn't really have a band where I went to school. So I'd go home and I'd practice, and I'd look forward to Sunday afternoon rehearsals up at the Jazz Academy. That's where I got nourished with jazz. And it was that week between there, I'd go practice it and listen to it and think about it and love it. And then I got to have my dream fulfilled by, on Sundays, once a month, being on stage, the same stage as the Columbus Jazz Orchestra. Think of the gift he gives us, but also we gave him with the ability. Now he gets to sit in that piano chair, and deservedly so, because he is a professional right now. So I'm excited about the audience experience.
Absolutely. And one of the two amazing things about that is that the audience won't, if they had a blindfold on, they would hear this guy and think that he's a middle-aged, well-seasoned virtuoso at the instrument. But the second thing is that what that's done, Micah was in the band forever and got that opportunity to interface with so many musicians, and then that got him up to New York and got the exposure that's sort of helped him, continue to grow. But it's also allowed our younger students to see that and to follow that same path. So we have this young pianist, Abik Mazumder, who has already won classical piano awards, starting to win jazz awards. And he has referenced, being able to see this happen before his eyes as a younger student and sort of follow that same path. So it really kind of creates this cycle that
absolutely.
You can really not only see, go through it yourself, but then the people that see you as an upperclassman do that. It really helps to fulfill our mission in that way too.
Well, that's just something that Jazz Arts Group and the community, the Columbus community, should be so proud that we're able to produce people like that. Not only those type of people, but I think the character that playing music and playing jazz builds in all these people that come and they practice. One of my former babysitters was Michaelia Delaveris, and she played trumpet, and she used to come over. She'd babysit my kids. She goes, "Can I have a trumpet lesson?" So I'd give her a trumpet lesson.
Right.
You know what? She still carries that with her today. It's in her soul, music, and it's a part of her life. And essentially, those people that carry music with them like that and that love it like that and carry that love, somebody like her will tell you, and I'll tell you now, when you need to feel good, self-medicate with music.
Right.
So I don't need Oxycontin. I don't need Volume. I need Volume sometimes. I don't need Valium. I don't need, what's those other ones that they take?
Right.
All those
like Xanax.
I don't need all that.
Yeah.
When I get a little anxiety, I put on Cannonball Adderley with strings.
Oh, man.
Clifford with strings.
Right.
And then that cools me out. You learn that the gift of what music gives you, and that's what we're giving these young people when we educate them. They learn discipline. When I was a kid, they used to say, "Oh, you got to go to football field and learn discipline and play sports." Man, there's nothing like having that trumpet kick your behind because you didn't practice that thing that you're supposed to play in jazz band. And that director gets on you, you're like, man, I got to discipline myself. And then that carries over through every aspect of your life. So,
and that's why we're just as happy to see students that graduate from our program that don't go into music. You've got students. I know there was a student that was in the Youth Jazz Orchestra maybe in the mid-2000s, like 2007 or something, presented his prototype for a prosthetic to President Obama a couple years back. It's just as amazing when we see that, because we know that somewhere in the values that they have, about their life, music has been a core part of that. And It's going to inform whether you go into engineering or science or politics or whatever it might be. There's something that happened to you during your time with us that's going to carry you farther.
I mean, Mikalia, who I was telling you about, she's a lawyer now.
Right.
And a great one at a nice firm right now.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So, to kind of put a wrap on the holiday component of this conversation, every jazz musician, most popular jazz musicians have put out a holiday album, and it's something that it feels like a lot of people do. What's your favorite holiday jazz album?
Well, there's really two. First one I'd mention is, believe it or not, I have very few sort of recent big band albums I like, but there's actually a big band record by a guy named Tom Kubis. He's an LA guy. We're actually going to play one of his charts on it, and on there Jack Sheldon sings, and he sings a couple holiday songs, but he sings an original song about I can't even quote the words, so I can't remember, but it's just a funny story about how we as jazz musicians play all these gigs, and they give you sandwiches. We call them bandwiches, band sandwiches backstage, and people are talking while you play. And that's kind of a fun one. But I listen to that every holiday season because it's joyous big band music, and then you've got Jack Sheldon sort of messing with you in a humorous way.
Wow.
And then my all-time favorite Christmas album is, of course, the Nat King Cole Christmas album. And there he sings the Mel Torme classic, the Christmas song, or some people call Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire. And I heard that when I was a kid, and it speaks to how music can anchor you in your life. The moment I hear that, I see my mother, I see my father, I see the food that they cooked. Those feelings and thoughts immediately come back to me.
Yep.
And I think that music, and that's what I hope people get from our concert. They'll hear it and it'll sort of bring back a rush of memories, but it will also bring up some new things, new experiences, new magic moments. Hopefully we'll play, I think we're probably going to close with like Deck the Halls, and we'll try to do that real well for you, and might even have some dancers come out and dance on the end for that. But that'll be a magic moment for you, and you can look back as part of your life and say, man, God, I felt so good. We saw this holiday concert, and they played "Joy to the World," and they jazzed it up. It wasn't just So that's our goal, and that goes back to your thing about some people said, "Oh, that New Orleans concert was the best concert." Well, I want this holiday concert to be the best one that you ever seen. Yeah. And when we do our Ella show in February, I want you to say that's the best thing I've ever. And then when we do our big band show with Lionel Hampton and Cab Calloway music and stuff, I want that. So
right.
They all have to be. Otherwise, you guys wouldn't come back.
Well, and I think that that's something that in the Columbus arts world, that's what pushes this whole thing forward, is that anything you go to, that whether you're talking about Shadowbox or the ballet, the opera, the Columbus Jazz Orchestra, each show is trying to outdo the previous, which is, I think, puts the audience on the edge of their seat wondering what's going to happen next. And I mean, I've seen that whenever I've gone to other events, and also the Columbus Jazz Orchestra. You don't know what to expect, and you know it's going to be something that's extremely high level because of that intensity. Like we're trying to outdo ourselves.
Yep, you really have to. That's the only way we survive. It's just like any other business.
Yep. A little sidebar about Christmas music or holiday music. I was playing with a country band when I was in college, and we were doing every weekend playing covered songs at like Eagles lodges and AmVets lodges all over Ohio. And I'd done this for like a year. And I was starting to get a little worn out on the same songs. They were waking me up in the middle of the night, thinking I was on the gig in my pajamas and things like that. And that's when I found the Oscar Peterson Christmas record. Nice. And I'll tell you what, that year or that season of driving around Ohio, playing those gigs late at night and coming home late, that record pretty much saved me.
Okay, so I gotta be honest, I don't know the record, so I'm gonna check it out now.
It's on Telarc. It's one of his.
So that's a later record.
It's a later record, and actually features Jack Shantz, trumpeter from Cleveland, appears on 3 or 4 tracks on that.
See, Jack never told me that.
You would never know it, but Jack Shantz he plays a lot of flugelhorn on several of the.
I bet you it's killing.
Oh my God, it's all really, really good. Check that out, Oscar Peterson Christmas.
What are some of the songs?
Away in a Manger, they do. God Rest You Merry Gentlemen, they do.
Yeah.
Let It Snow. There's a really cute arrangement of Let It Snow.
Do you remember the rhythm section?
I think Lewis Nash is playing drums.
Yeah, he did this Telarc once,
on that. I'm not sure who the rest of the rhythm section is, though.
So when Oscar Peterson called up Lewis Nash to play with him, Lewis called him back and said, "Hey, Mr. Peterson, thank you for calling me. I think you're confusing me with Lewis Hayes."
Oh, right. Because Lewis Hayes did play in his trio there in the 70s.
He goes, "No, I called you. I want you," because Lewis couldn't believe he got a call from Oscar Peterson.
Yeah. So check that one out if you haven't. So Home for the Holidays is going to be awesome as usual, and then we'll go into one more show before the end of the year, and we've done this a couple times, and we're bringing it back. The Swingin' in the New Year show, which is a chance for the Columbus audience. Every so often you get to see Byron lead a small group in a classic quartet setting, you calling the tunes, playing extended trumpet solos. And this is sort of our holiday offering. Everybody's going to be sitting around the Christmas tree after Christmas, getting tired of each other's family members and want something to do. So this is going to be Thursday right after Christmas.
Yeah, right.
Tell us a little bit about that and a little bit about your small group, your passion for that music and what you try to do when you lead a group yourself.
Mm-hmm. Well, so first of all, I love that event because that is that time between Christmas and New Year's. It's right after Christmas, right before New Year. And there's sort of a lull in energy.
Right.
And that's why we want you to come to this concert because we're there to pick up your energy and take you away from those relatives that you've gotten sick of between that period. Well, I'm being honest.
Right.
There's Unky Puku and whatever you call your uncle. Wee Wee and Ching Ching and all your little. Anyway, you get all those people that you're tired of, and you have a chance to go to hear some great music. So that's why we created that event. In regard to small group jazz, that's kind of like all of our base. And so for me, my trumpet player, some of my favorite trumpet players besides Louis Armstrong would be Roy Eldridge and Dizzy Gillespie, Clifford Brown, Miles Davis, and Kenny Dorham. In fact, we play a bunch of little Kenny Dorham things in our small group. We just recorded an album.
Really?
We actually recorded it here in Columbus, and I had Joel Moss that's done the CJO albums produce it. He's a Grammy Award-winning producer. I'm going to go mix it next week, I think.
Wow.
But it won't be ready in time for this concert. Unless somebody would like to send me a donation, call me at 1-800-I81-U812. And
that's a good one. Give them your PayPal email address or something like that.
No, that's just kidding. But it's going to be out soon. The small group setting for jazz is really the ultimate setting because, to your point, it's where you guys really get to stretch out. It's one reason we do our jam sessions. It's been Friday at the CJO after our concerts is because in a big band setting, a guy gets one chorus, 2 choruses, and he's done. Mm-hmm. And the audience, never gets, and it's why it's not really a focus on me. It's a focus on guys that you don't get to hear them really stretch out. You know, so that's what my small group is for. We have great members. We have Larry Cook on bass, who's actually former Columbus guy who just ran the New York Marathon a couple nights ago. We have Bobby Floyd, who we all know and love. We have Rich Thompson, and we have myself. The great commonality of all those things, except for Larry, is all of us worked with Count Basie, or the Count Basie Band. Right. So what we're going to do is take. For the last part of that concert, like the second half, we're going to put together a community band, and anybody can be in this band. All you got to do is sign up.
Right.
when you're in. And I love working with groups like that because it's not about let's hear you play your scales. It's just like bring your horn and we're going to like make music together. It's
Right.
really a community